Hello beautiful, my name is Mina. Welcome to my channel Mina Reads, and today we're starting a reading vlog and I am on my way to the Barnes & Noble post-Christmas sale. So I am about to go see if I can get some good deals with this 50% off all hardcovers in store sale, but I'm scared that everything's going to be all picked over, so I need to hurry up and get there like right now. So I'm headed out the door and I'm going to take you guys with me. Alrighty, so hello my friends, I am back from the Barnes & Noble sale and I got 3 books. I'm very excited about my haul this year because last year when I went to the Barnes & Noble hardcover sale, I only ended up finding 1 book, and it was Velvet Was the Night by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, which I really loved. So I mean, it was a good pick. I'm glad I was able to get it at a discount and be able to own like a really good book, but it was a very picked over selection when I went last year, so I made sure to get in store as early as I could, and even still it was super duper packed in there and the selection was already starting to be a little bit picked over, so it was a slightly stressful shopping experience, but I'm so glad that I went. And I'm gonna do like a real quick haul for you guys. So the first thing I got was Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and this book is contemporary Japanese fiction, and I'm not sure what it's about. I think it's about like a magical coffee shop where you can go back in time, but only for like a very limited period of time before the coffee gets cold. And I'm not exactly sure like if it's stories about a bunch of different people, about just one person, I don't know, but all I've heard is that it's a very like emotional, moving read, and I want to get into it. It seems like it'll be a good time, and I've definitely been wanting to read more Japanese literature. I read Convenience Store Woman a few years ago and really loved it, but I never got around to like picking up more contemporary Japanese authors. So if you have any book recommendations, please leave those for me in the comments below. I would appreciate it. And I think I got this one for $10, so this was the cheapest one that I got. And then I got The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This is one of her most recent releases, and this is about the daughter of Dr. Moreau, who is like this mad scientist, and she lives on this island with him and all of his like strange hybrid monstrous creations, but one day he has a patron who pays for all of his scientific research, and one day the son of that patron comes to the island and he kind of disrupts their very delicate ecosystem. And I want to read like most, if not all, of her backlist in 2023, so had to pick this up. And the last book that I got was Silver Under Nightfall by Ren Chupeco, and this book is about vampires and a vampire hunter and polyamory. That's all I really know about it. It was sold to me as being slightly reminiscent of Castlevania, the video game slash Netflix TV show, and I absolutely love Castlevania, so I'm kind of buying it just off the strength of that. And the synopsis is like, you know, a little bit more detailed. It's about this character named Remy, who is the son of a duke, and he is also a vampire hunter, and he's like half vampire himself, I believe. And so maybe it'll deal with some like, I don't know, some self-hatred, some internalized vamp phobia or something. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what it's all about. And I've heard a lot about this author, but I haven't heard a lot about this release, which is interesting to me because usually I have my finger on the pulse of all queer and vampiric books that are releasing at a given moment, and I haven't heard anything about this one, but it seems interesting, so I got it. Alright, so I am currently reading Empress of Forever. I just started it this morning and I'm already about 160 pages into it. I'm on chapter 20 and this book is a little bit difficult to explain, so I'm going to try my best. This is science fiction and it is about this tech billionaire named Vivian Lau, and basically she's kind of a megalomaniacal like Elon Musk type, and she is planning this like insane software technology that's pretty much going to make her like the ruler of Earth. Like she's going to have all of this insane power, and she's trying to create this technology, and to go through with like part of her plan she has to go to this server farm in Boston, and she's trying to upload or download some kind of data that's going to help her in her like crazy, in her mind, world saving but mostly world conquering activity. So she goes to this server farm, and somehow, some way, she gets contacted by this alien empress who rends her basically through time and space into this future realm where these people don't even know about Earth or humans or whatever, and they think that she is somehow special because she has seen the goddess and interacted with the goddess. And so the first person she encounters in this distant and faraway future is this monk named Hong, and Hong is he's a part of this order that worships the empress that brought her there, and they worship her and they deify her. They think she's really interesting because she is kind of like this divine architect of their universe, and she created the cloud. And in this future slash world universe, the cloud is like, it's not just the internet and like data and everything like that. It is also like human beings' souls are like uploaded to the cloud. You can travel through time and space and physical distance through the cloud, and you can just like re-download your body when you get to wherever you're going. Like all of this type of really insane amounts of advancement, and it's like so advanced that it all feels like magic to the main character Vivian, but she's trying to understand like the science and the logic behind everything that's going on. So she meets Hyung, and they're kind of caught up in this war battle skirmish with these like robots. And have I mentioned that Hong is also supposed to be like a cyborg robot? He is not made of like flesh. He's a robot. Like, I don't know, but he seems very humanoid in personality and everything like that. And then they meet this person named Zhangji, and Zhangji is this like god kind of sort of who has beef with the empress, and they find her locked up in this prison cell, and she has been there in the cell being tortured by the empress for like 3 millennia at this point, and they finally set her free. She's like completely feral and trying to kill them, but Vivian has some kind of power over her. Vivian puts this technology on her head that's basically like a shock collar, and so Vivian has like a whole bunch of control over Zhangji, and so she's kind of trying to get Zhangji to be the muscle of their group and do her bidding in a way. I think that this book is really interesting. It's kind of confusing, it's hard to describe, especially because the goal of the book, like they're trying to find the empress, trying to figure out where the empress went, but it's sort of like a journey book where they're going places and then they encounter an issue and they have to resolve that issue, and then they keep trying to go somewhere and the same thing happens. So it's sort of hard to describe like the forward progression of the plot and where everything's going with that, but I'm having a good time so far. I'm really into it. And personally, I am supporting women's wrongs. Like, did she want to take over the earth? Yes. But am I still rooting for her to get home somehow? Yes. I don't know. I'm into it. I'm having a good time. I'm thinking and I'm contemplating and I'm pondering what I should read next, or if I should put this down for a minute and pick something else up, because it is Smudathon. The Smudathon is a readathon, like a romance readathon, which is hosted by Riley Marie and Ginger Reese Laney, and I have wanted to participate in Smudathon every year for like the past 3 years, and I still have never gotten around to doing it. I'm always busy or just like not in the mood at the time the Smudathon is happening, but I feel like this year I could finally make it happen and I could finally participate in Sweatathon. So there are these two different prompt boards that you can follow. There is a naughty board and there is a nice board. And so the naughty board has all types of crazy stuff on it. You know, it's like, well, not crazy, but it's like age gap, taboo, mafia, monsters, captor, captive. I mean, it's like, you know, more intense stuff. And then the nice list has things like released in 2022, Grumpy Sunshine. What else is on the nice list? Just like more general tropes and things like that. And the other one is like more intense stuff. I don't know which board I want to focus on, and I don't know what I want to read. So I have to see, and I'll get back to you about what I might maybe read for Sweatathon. Because I really want to participate this year. I really do. So we're going to try it out. I have been looking for my dog all fucking morning. Guess where she is? I thought that this was just a discarded blanket, but she's been under there this whole time. Hey dudes, so I am still reading Empress of Forever, and I want to say that I'm 200 pages into it now. So right now, or most recently, they have added this like monster named Gray, and he's kind of like a little boy. He's kind of like a teenager, and he's really funny and like very petulant, and he's a little bit hilarious. I like him a whole lot. And there's also this other character named Ziara, and Ziara is kind of developing a romantic, well, not kind of, her and Vivian are like sleeping together, but Vivian and Shara are developing this relationship with one another, and they're really interesting and really cool together. But there was this one scene that was so absolutely hilarious to me. I think I put like a tab in it, but there's a scene where they've just like slept together and they're like laying in bed talking, and one thing that's important to know about Ciara is that her people, the planet that she's from, they're all like very good pilots, but they have sort of made a culture and a religion out of being like these sky people who are meant to be among the stars and stuff like that. So Ciara has like this very specific relationship to being a spaceship pilot, sort of. And so she's piloting their spaceship for Vivian and co, and she can like enter her mind. There's like a neural link between her and the spaceship while she's flying it. So she's like really wired into it, and she feels like emotionally connected to the ship, and like she is the ship while she's piloting it. It's a whole thing, right? And so she's wondering, she says, were we ships dreaming we were people, or the other way around? And then Vivian says, I know which I'd rather. And then Ciara replies with, you wouldn't like me as a ship? You'd be so cute and small running around inside me. That might be fun. What? It's such an insane statement to make. Like, what are we talking about? So, yeah, it's really interesting and weird, and I'm liking it. Again, I didn't make that much progress in it today just because I feel like I'm having a bit of a late start. I had therapy earlier today and it's kind of got me off my game, but I'm gonna settle down. I'm gonna do a little bit more reading, maybe of this or maybe of something else. Hey y'all, so it is about 4:30 and I'm filming some videos right now, so that's why I'm all done up. But I wanted to give you a quick update on my reading, both of my reads for right now. So with Empress of Forever, I made a little bit more progress and I'm about 250 pages into this one. So yeah, some progress is being made. We love to see it. It's still pretty good. The characters are now stranded. Their ship just crashed and they're stranded on this island planet, or this tropical planet called Refuge, and I am sure that everything is not quite as it seems. So yeah, I'm excited. I feel like this is just like a really fun book to read. Like, it's just very fun. But I did decide that I wanted to read some more of this book because I want to participate in Sweatathon, you all know, and I'm already very much behind because Sweatathon started, what? It started yesterday, I think, maybe the day before, and I still have not completed a single read for that, but we move. So I am 50 pages into Games with the Orc, and Games with the Orc is about this girl who she essentially, her name is Sunny, and Sunny was in this relationship with this sweet but very boring kind of vanilla guy named Harry, and when Harry proposes to her, she is just suddenly hit with the realization that she just was like very unhappy, very unfulfilled in their relationship. And so as soon as they break up, she goes to seek that fulfillment and to fulfill one of her fantasies that she has, particularly about orc men. So she goes through this company to hire a professional orc sex worker guy to fulfill some of her fantasies. So this is a story about sex work and king exploration and all of that good stuff, and it is like a modern setting, which is interesting because if you've read her like Lady of Rooksgrave Manor series, or whatever that series is called, Monsters something, whatever, it's like a monster romance series, but it's a historical setting, and in that series monsters are basically like a hidden sort of underground society with all of these like sex work networks for monsters to sate and experiment with their sexual desires. And so essentially it seems like this book could maybe be set in that same world, but just in the future after monsters have made themselves known to the rest of the world and integrated into society. So yeah, so this girl, she has like a thing for orcs. She's really into them. So yeah, I need to get this filming done, this editing done, and I also want to read Games with the Orc and hopefully maybe possibly finish it today, just because I want to at least complete one prompt for Smutathon. Like, that's my main goal. So we'll see how the evening goes for me. I don't know, but fingers crossed I make some progress on any of my things that I want to do. So I have many updates for you. So number one, I have finished Empress of Forever, and I'm not sure what I want to rate it. I'm thinking maybe like a 3.75 because I really liked this book. I really liked it. I thought it was interesting. I thought it had a lot of interesting ideas. I think Max Gladstone's writing style is very cool. I was very enamored with all the characters, particularly Vivian. I thought that it just touched on like a lot of really interesting stuff and like sci-fi concepts that I had a lot of appreciation for. But I think the book is too long. I think that it overstays its welcome, and I think that if this was a 380 page book, I would have given it 5 stars. But because it is a 480 page book, it's definitely not a 5 star. It's just too long. I have said time and time again that I'm going to be reading Games with the Orc and I'm going to be doing the Smutathon and blah blah blah. Smutathon is just not happening. There's no way that I'm going to be able to finish this in time for like the Smutathon whatever, because it's the 31st right now and I still have made like no progress. I'm still only like 50 pages into this. It's alright, but it's very much like porn without plot. And not to say that Catherine Moon's other books don't also involve lots of porn, but I think that this one is just very much like from the get-go. Like, they don't even have a single regular conversation. Like, as soon as they meet each other, it's on and popping, and still 50 pages into the book, they haven't had like a regular human conversation with each other, and it's all just dirty talk and banging, and which is like fine, but it's not what I'm in the mood to read right now. Shockingly, I know. Usually I'm the smut queen, smut fiend, if you would, but this is just, I don't know, just not in the mood for it right now. So since I'm not in the mood for it, I decided to pick up something else, and this is a book that is on my 23 for 2023 TBR, but I decided to pick it up because I wanted to listen to an audiobook last night, and so I started listening to it. 148 pages through, A Taste of Golden Iron. Now this is not like too far into the book because this is a pretty long book. It's like 500 pages, but I am just kind of flying through it at the moment. I don't want to jinx my experience with it, but I have been having a really good time reading this. So this is about this prince named Cadeau, and Cadeau is a very anxious prince. Like, he has an anxiety disorder, and so he's incredibly anxious, and he's like dealing with a lot internally, and his sister is the sultan of their country, and so she has recently had a daughter, and because of this, like, it has created some political tension because people in the court think that Cadeau is maybe going to try to make like a bid for power, even though he has no intentions to do that, and he loves his sister very much, but people think that. And so there is this person who is basically like his sister's baby daddy because she's not married to him or anything like that. Like, he's just her baby daddy, but he is like very interested in grabbing power for himself through his connection to like being the sire of the Sultan's daughter. So he is kind of trying to invent and like create problems between Cadeau and his sister. And so a misunderstanding occurs, and someone and Cadeau's guards, who are very protective of him, believe that this person, his name is Cyrano, they believe that Cyrano is like making an attempt on Cadeau's life. So a brawl breaks out and a few of the guards die, and some people on Cyrano's side die. And so Cadeau is kind of in bad standing with the court now and with his sister, because he's put her in a really bad position right now. So he is reassigned like a new bodyguard, and he's kind of been asked to lay low a bit so that he can fix his reputation, and just stuff and things are kind of happening. It's not like a very plot forward story, I want to say, or maybe it's not a very action packed sort of story, but it is really like slice of life, interpersonal dynamics at play going on, and I'm having a really good time. So his new bodyguard's name is Evamir, and Evamir does not really like him that much. Like, Evamir doesn't have a whole bunch of respect for him at the moment, particularly because Cadeau was kind of unintentionally responsible for some of the guards that Evamir was friends with dying, and so he doesn't have a whole lot of respect for Cadeau, and so they have a really contentious relationship thus far, and just their dynamic is really, really interesting to me. And I think that Cadeau is a really fascinating character because he just has a lot of layers. Like, he's very shy and, you know, reserved, and seems very delicate, but he's also kind of a hoe. Like, he has a side piece named Tadak, and Tadak is so interesting. I can't wait to see where Tadak is going to go in the story, because he's a very interesting character. And then, like, he's like a fighter and he's a killer and all this kind of stuff, but he's also like a very fragile person in need of a lot of care and like emotional attention. And it's just something very interesting about like the dichotomy of his character that is fascinating to me and fascinating to Evamir. So yeah, I'm having a really good time reading this. I don't know when I'm going to update again, because I just feel like very self-conscious about my face and the way I look right now, because yeah, I'm going through it. My skin is like peeling in the winter air, and my lips, I don't know, some stuff is going on my lips. They're like swollen. It's giving Big Ange a little bit. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know when's the next time I'm going to update, but I am reading and it's very good. I like it a lot. I don't know why I always choose to film things right here, because this floorboard is like very creaky. Can you hear it? So hi friends, happy new year. I am still in the middle of reading this book, A Taste of Golden Iron. I have the cover over here. So I'm in the middle of reading this book, and I am 385 pages into it, and I really love this book so much. I don't know if this book is going to be for everybody, because it is a very slow burn, like political intrigue, romantic fantasy book, and the political intrigue that's going on, they're like trying to solve this conspiracy. It's basically an economic conspiracy, because there's kind of like this counterfeit coinage that is entering their commerce system, and that's like a huge deal. So they're trying to figure out who is making this counterfeit money, and like what are their grander motives in doing so. So I will say that one thing about the conspiracy is that it's very clear who it is and what's going on from like pretty much the beginning of the book. I'm not going to say it's like a huge shocker, but I still think it's a very like engaging, let me take this off. I still feel like it's a very engaging mystery. I don't necessarily know if I want to call it a mystery, but it's an engaging conspiracy. I like seeing them, you know, jump through all the hoops to figure out who's doing it and why and what's going on. Like, I enjoyed that aspect of the story, and I really enjoy all of the characters in this, and the world building is just really great. I feel like I've already talked about that, but yeah, I'm having a good time, and I'm getting pretty close to the finish line. Not too close, but pretty close. I think I have maybe like 115 more pages of this book to read, so I'm hoping to finish this today. Okay, so let me tell y'all something that has really been getting me. So obviously I really like Kato, and I really like his new bodyguard, or not new, but like, you know, the new bodyguard that he gets, Evamir, and their dynamic and the building of their relationship. Like, I really like them. I love that this book is really heavily focused in on themes of like loyalty and fealty and devotion. Like, I love all that stuff. It's very fun to me. I love the fact that Kato is like this shy but lovable prince. He kind of reminds me of Prince Alizade in a way, where Alizade is kind of always in some sort of trouble. He's always in the midst of like the political turmoil, but at the same time there are a lot of people in like the main cast of characters that really love him and have like a lot of care, compassion, and devotion towards him, and they're very invested in his well-being. Like, I really love that kind of character, and Alizade is also kind of shy and awkward, and so he's reminding me a little bit of Prince Ali, and I love Ali so much. Y'all should know that if you don't know that. I love Ali from the David Ball trilogy so much, one of my favorite characters of all time, and so Kato is just reminding me of him. Ali is still in the #1 spot, but I feel like they're fitting into a similar like lovable prince archetype that I guess I really enjoy. But prior to Evamir being assigned as Kato's bodyguard, he had this other bodyguard named Tadak, and him and Tadak were like boos, and they were together. And I really like the way that in this world, like, it is an established thing that sometimes a royal will like take their bodyguard as a paramour, and it's like a very regular thing that happens, and they even have like HR protocols for it too. So I like that it has like a whole HR thing, because as soon as it becomes clear that Kato kind of has a thing for Evamir, like Evamir's boss takes him aside and is like, yes, so I think the prince likes you. I know that things happen between young people sometimes, so let me know if you're ever feeling uncomfortable, if you need to be reassigned or anything like that. All very fun, very interesting. I really like it. So I like that there's like a very established like consent element to everything that's going on in here. But going back a little bit before Evamir kind of enters the picture, there's this other character named Tadak, and Tadak is Kato's like boo. They're together, and I love Tadak so much. Like, he's my favorite character after Kato, I think. Like, he's just so fun. I love his sense of humor, and he's just so unhinged, and I love a good unhinged character. And so, like I said, this story is really very invested in themes of like fealty and loyalty, and this sort of like devotion and almost obsession with like the crown and the sanctity of it and protecting them and all that kind of stuff. And I love Tadak so much because he's crazy. There's this scene where some stuff happens and they're all in danger, and Tadak is like protecting Kato because he still is a part of like the bodyguard crew, and so he's protecting Kato, and he gets like kind of gravely injured. Not super gravely, but he gets pretty seriously injured, and he's having a conversation with Evamir after, and he's like, like, I wish that I had been able to die for him. Like, that would have been so romantic. And he's just insane. One thing about me is that I am a wee bit sick, and something that I always love in a book is when characters are like insanely devoted to one another. There's like an unhinged sort of romantic obsession going on there. Like, something about that just appeals to me so greatly in my fiction. Obviously not in real life, but in fiction, like, it just always gets me going. So if there is like a really crazy, intense level of like loyalty, devotion, and obsession on a romantic or even platonic level, like, I'm probably going to be obsessed with the book and give it 5 stars. So I love Tadak's character for contributing that level of unhinged energy to the community. Like, I love that. I think that Evamir is also a bit unhinged, but I feel like he is not quite as digmatized as Tadak is, so his devotion is coming out a little bit differently, but they are both under Kato's spell, which is so fun to me. This is not like a love triangle or anything by any means like that. I don't want to confuse anybody, but like, Tadak is there, and he was a former flame of Kato, but they are still cool and stuff like that. But I just love it. I'm having a ball. I spent my morning cleaning and cooking for my grandma because she's here, and now I'm going to sit back and relax and read my book. I'm very excited about it. Also, I have this medication on my lip because of this weird like bum thing that I have, so do not laugh at me for this one shiny part of my lip. Okay, thank you so much. So I have finished this book and I am giving it 5 stars. Who is surprised? This book was just very good. It was just such an entertaining read. I feel like I really flew through it. It was so immersive, and this was the exact thing that I really needed, because I love fantasy, but I don't love reading fantasy that stresses me out. I feel like frequently fantasy is very stressful to read. They're always prepping for like a gigantic war. It's always the end of the world or something like that. And I really liked that while there is a plot in this and there is this like, you know, political economic conspiracy thing going on in it, that really is like the main plot thread outside of the romance. I found that to be interesting and engaging enough that it really propelled me through the story, but it wasn't like something that was very stressful, like end of the world doom and gloom type, and I absolutely loved that. The world was just so immersive and fun, and there was something really kind of relaxing about it, even though there's lots of stuff and excitement going on. And I don't know, I just really loved it, and the book really ends with a bang, like quite literally. So we love it, we stand, 5 stars. It was just so good, and this is my first read of 2023, so I'm over the moon, honestly, that my first read is so good. So we love to start the new year with a new favorite. Like, that's incredible. So I'm so happy with this reading experience, and yeah, like, I don't know, it was just so good. So I am going to go update my Goodreads and my story graph, and I'm setting my reading goal for the year, and I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I'm thinking maybe like 120 books is my goal for this year. Last year I read 147 books, which is very cool, pretty impressive. But I read a lot of manga, I read a lot of comics, read a lot of novellas, and this year, while I'm not necessarily like cutting those out or counting them out, I do want to get more into reading longer fiction, and per my Storygraph stats, I only read like 5 books last year that were over 500 pages, so I want to definitely boost that up. I want to read some more long books, and so to account for the amount of time that those longer books are going to take me to read, I am lowering my reading goal a little bit. So yeah, like, hopefully I'll succeed with my goal. Let me know in the comments what your reading goals for 2023 are going to be. I'm hoping to have some kind of video where I talk like more extensively about my reading goals, but it won't be in this video. So anyway, so I'm thinking that I'm going to end the vlog here. Thank you so much to everyone who stayed all the way to the end of the video, because I have a feeling that this one is going to be a long one. Was in a very talkative mood this week. So thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!